and currently we are doing anatomy and physiology of plants. And what we are going to cover in this video is going to be again a part of that, the anatomy of flowering plants and especially the different kinds of plant tissue that exist. So as you might be knowing, tissue is nothing but a group of cells that have a common origin and perform a similar function. Now tissues in plants are of two types. One is known as meristematic tissue and the other one is known as permanent tissue. Now the basic difference between them is that in meristematic tissue, the cells, they still undergo cell division. That means they still divide and produce themselves repetitively. But in permanent tissues, there is no more cell division. So that is why it's called permanent. Now the meristematic is further divided into primary and secondary. So primary is the one that is formed initially, and from that the new tissue that is formed, that is known as secondary. So we are going to do both of them in detail, and we'll also do the permanent tissue, which is actually into two parts. One is simple and the other one is complex. Now coming to meristematic primary tissue, it is known as the meristem, and basically two tissues are there under this. One is the apical meristem and the other one is intercalary meristem. We'll be doing each one of these in detail in the video. Right now I'm just highlighting them in a form of a table so that it's easier to revise. And the secondary tissue is found in the mature regions, and let me put those names here. You have basically three kinds of secondary tissue. I'll give you three examples of that. One is fascicular vascular cambium. One is interfascicular cambium. And the third one is cork cambium. We'll be doing them in detail later. Coming to the permanent tissues, the simple ones are of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Now sclerenchyma is further of two types. One is fibers and one is scleroids. Coming to the complex permanent tissues, they are of two types. One is xylem and another one is phloem. So roughly if you look at it, there are two kinds of plant tissues: meristematic, the ones that still undergo plant cell division, and permanent, that do not grow, they are already mature. The meristematic can be primary or secondary, and the permanent can be simple or complex. So now what we are going to start with is a description of the primary meristematic tissue. So as mentioned earlier, the primary meristematic tissue is the one that is still undergoing cell division, and it is the one that is formed the earliest. So under primary meristematic tissue, the first one that we need to do is the apical meristem. Now, if you remember the videos and the subject matter on what is a meristematic tissue, what are meristematic cells, you might remember they are present in the root tip and in the shoot tip. So that is where the apical meristem is present, in the root tip and in the shoot tip. Now also in the shoot tip, one more extra feature of the apical meristem is that it can develop into the axillary part, which will later give rise to either a branch or it's going to give rise to a leaf or a new flower. So that is the axillary bud. The second kind of primary meristematic tissue that you can see is the intercalary meristem. Now there is no specific location for this, and it is found interspersed between the mature tissues. So between any two areas of mature tissues, if you find a meristem, that is probably going to be intercalary meristem. And if you want to draw a diagram of the apical meristem, it would be like this. So let's suppose this is the root. This is, let's call it the central cylinder of the root. And this I'm drawing the meristem at the root tip. Outside the central cylinder, there is a layer known as the cortex. Now this layer contains the apical meristem, which is at this location. So this is the location of the apical meristem. Beneath that, what you have is a layer of protoderm. Another layer, so this is the third layer. And I hope you remember what is there at the end of the root. For the protection, that is the root cap. So basically these four layers are there: the central cylinder, the cortex that contains the apical meristem at the end, the protoderm, and the root cap. This is how the apical meristem exists in the root. Now in the shoot, the apical meristem exists in this form. Here, this opening, this structure, spherical structure, this is the axillary bud. This one over here. This is the axillary bud. Now this is known as the leaf primordium. This is the shoot apical meristem. So that is how it exists in the form of a shoot and the root. So that is all that you need to know about the primary meristematic tissue. And even in the secondary meristematic tissue, we've already done that it is present in mature regions. And three examples were the fascicular vascular cambium, the interfascicular cambium, and the cork cambium. So now it's time to go to the permanent tissues. So we've already done that the permanent tissue is of two types. One is the simple and one is the complex. Now what is the difference between them? In the simple permanent tissues, all the cells, they have a similar function and they also have a similar structure. But in the complex tissue, the cells, they have different structures and functions as well. So simple ones are further divided into three. Complex ones we'll do after the simple ones. So simple ones are parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. So the important things you need to know about parenchyma are that all of the cells, they are either spherical, round-shaped, oval, or elongated. The important thing is that they have got thin walls that are made up of cellulose, and that their main functions include photosynthesis, storage of food, and synthesis of important materials. Sometimes they may have spaces between cells, or sometimes there may not be intercellular spaces at all. So if you want to draw a diagram, this would be a very simple diagram of a parenchyma. And this is a diagram where you can see the intercellular spaces are there between the cells. So these are the intercellular spaces, and in some cases, these spaces may not be present at all. Coming to collenchyma, what you need to know about collenchyma is that it's present in the form of a layer below the epidermis in dicots. Sometimes the collenchyma can exist in the form of one single homogeneous layer, and sometimes it can exist in the form of patches. One special thing you need to know about collenchyma is that they have cells that contain thick corners, and these corners are thickened due to presence of either cellulose or hemicellulose or pectin. And the third thing is pectin. So cellulose, hemicellulose or pectin. And they help to assimilate food whenever they have chloroplasts in them. And the basic function is to give mechanical support. So if you want to draw collenchyma, it will be like this. And let's suppose this is the layer of cell wall. Now at the cell wall, at the corners, there is going to be thickening. So let me draw it like this, thickened corners. And it is there in all the cells. And as you can observe, there are no intercellular spaces over here. Now within this you have the central part, which is the protoplasm. And in the middle, you have a big vacuole. So the vacuole, the protoplasm, the thick corners, and the cell wall. So that is all about collenchyma that you need to know right now. Coming to the third one, which is sclerenchyma. These cells are dead cells and they do not have any kind of protoplast within them. And they are of two types. One is fibers and one is scleroids. So fibers are elongated and they also have a thickened cell wall. The central cavity, since they do not have a protoplast, the central cavity of these cells, of the fibers, is known as lumen. And they have a very thick cell wall. Coming to scleroids, the scleroids are much more spherical. And they have substances called pits in them. So they are drawn like this. And you have little groove-like structures. So these are known as the pits, where these groove-like structures start. The central area is known as the lumen, and this is the thick cell wall. So that is all that you need to know about the sclerenchyma, and they're usually found in nuts and in the fleshy part of guava, in peas, and even in leaves of the tea. So that is where these tissues are found. The next thing we have to do is go to the complex tissues, that is the xylem and the phloem. So these are the two kinds of complex tissues, xylem and phloem. The basic purpose of xylem is to carry water and minerals from the roots to other parts of the plant, that means to the stem or the leaves, and also to give mechanical strength. On the other hand, the purpose of phloem is to take the food from the leaves to the other parts of the plant. So that is their function. And each one of them is further divided into many parts. When you come to the complex tissue, you know that it's made up of different kinds of cells with each performing a different function. So when it comes to xylem, the different parts of the xylem tissue are tracheids, vessels that are only there in angiosperms, not in gymnosperms, xylem fibers, and xylem parenchyma. Coming to phloem, there are again four parts of the phloem tissue, that is sieve tube elements, After that, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and finally phloem fibers. So now what we'll do is we'll get started with discussing the different parts of the xylem tissue and then the different parts of the phloem tissue. So let's start with the first one, which is xylem, and under that, tracheids. Now tracheids are tube-like structures. They are elongated and they have thick lignified walls. So if you want to draw a diagram of a tracheid, it's going to look like this. So this is the layer of cell wall and these are cells in them. The second one is known as vessels, and again they're tube-like and they have a structure like this. Even they have some cells on them. These cells are known as vessel members. And these are nothing but they have lignified cell wall and they have a large central cavity without any protoplasm. So we can say that these are again dead cells. And these vessels are there only in angiosperms, not in gymnosperms. The next kind is fibers. Now the fibers, they are highly thickened cells that have highly thickened walls. Additionally, they have the obliterated central lumen and they can either have a separation, so they can either be septate or aseptate. That differs from cell to cell. Coming to the xylem parenchyma, which is the fourth element, all these cells, they are living and they are thin-walled. The cell wall is made up of cellulose and the main function is to store food in the form of starch or fat or even tannins. And apart from this, you need to know that the primary xylem is further of two types. So let me write it down here. One of them is known as the protoxylem, which was formed earlier, and the one that was formed later is known as the metaxylem. Now, depending on their relative positions, you can have two kinds of tissues further. If the primary xylem is towards the center and the metaxylem is on the outer side, this is the case that is present in stems. And this kind is also known as end arc. That means the older thing, that means the one that was formed earlier, is towards the center. On the other hand, if the protoxylem is on the outer side and the metaxylem is towards the center, that condition is present in roots and that is known to be exarch. So that is all you need to know about the xylem to be more clear of the basics. The next thing that we're about to do is the phloem. So let me draw a diagram of the phloem. So this is the basic structure. This layer of cells is known as the phloem parenchyma and they have a nucleus in each of them. So let me label it. So that is the phloem parenchyma. These little openings that you can see, these are known as sieve pores. And this cell that you can see over here, that is the companion cell. Sometimes it can be in the form of one single cell. Sometimes there may be perforation and they can be made up of two parts, each with a nucleus. So this is the companion cell. And what you see in the middle, this area, this is known as a sieve tube element. So coming to these sieve tube elements, what are these? These are actually long tube-like and they are situated longitudinally. Additionally, they have end walls that are perforated for the seed plates. They contain peripheral cytoplasm. But they do not have their own nucleus. They even have a large vacuole. No nucleus is there, and that is why the functions of these sieve tube elements, they are controlled by the nucleus or the nuclei of the companion cells. Coming to these companion cells, what are the companion cells? These are nothing but specialized parenchyma. And they are connected by the pit fields between the common walls to each other. So this is known as the pit field, and the basic purpose is to maintain the pressure gradient of the whole phloem. And coming to the phloem parenchyma, it's elongated, they have a dense cytoplasm. They even have a nucleus, they have cellulose, and there are pits made for plasmodesmatal connection between cells. So pits for plasmodesmatal connections between cells. Additionally, they store some food materials plus other kinds of materials as well, for example resins, latex, or even mucilage, and they're not present in the monocots, only in dicots. Coming to one more part which is left, which is phloem fibers, also known as bast fibers. These are nothing but sclerenchyma cells. They are not present in the primary phloem. So made up of sclerenchyma, they are unbranched and elongated. Additionally, they have a thick cell wall. And they have apices that are shaped like needles. At maturity, they lose the protoplasm and they die. And they're usually present in jute, in flax and hemp, and lots of commercial uses are there. And the phloem is again of two types, just like xylem. So the protophlloem is the one that was formed earlier, and they have narrow sieve tubes, whereas metaphloem is the one that was formed later, and that is why it is secondary, not primary. They have wider sieve tubes. So that is all that you need to know about in this video. What we have covered in this video is the basics of the tissues that are there in plants. We've done the simple tissue, that is the meristematic, where cell division still takes place. We've discussed the apical meristem, the intercalary meristem, and even the secondary meristematic tissue. And under permanent, we've done xylem and phloem that are part of the complex tissues, and under simple, we've done parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. So I hope all this was helpful to you, and in the next video we are going to go further and we are going to do the tissue systems in plants in detail. That is about the epidermal tissue system, the ground system, and the vascular system. Thank you so much for watching this video.